Welcome to Between the Sheets podcast with Dr. Samantha Worthington and Brendan Neal, where we explore midlife and everything in between. Evening, Dr. Sam. Great to have you here.
Good evening, Brendan.
You know I'm looking forward to this one.
I am
What are we
too.
talking about?
I'm too.
What are we doing? Come on, bring
There's
it on.
things that I can talk about here that I can't talk about anywhere else.
Think of this as your safe place.
My safe space, yeah.
We're just sharing it with a few friends.
Very minimal.
Yes.
It's not public at all. What are we talking about today? We are talking about how to pick up the opposite sex or the same sex, doesn't matter, what your preference is, during midlife. So you find yourself single, you're looking, what works and what doesn't work with regards to pick-up lines, pick-up strategies, and we're going to share our lived experience with you and preferences from our own experiences or our own portfolio. Brendan? Yeah. And hopefully that gives you some guidance on the difference between dating or pickup lines or pickup tactics or pickup strategies in your earlier years, your 20s, early 30s versus midlife, and what the opposite sex or the same sex is looking for.
Okay. I think
This is a juicy one.
There's people ready to take notes already, I think. Yeah. All right. Why are you so excited about this one, Sam? You on the hunt?
No.
You on the prowl?
No, I'm not on the prowl. However, I do get quite a few pickups or pickup lines.
I can't imagine that at all.
And
you get quite a few. Like you think of a few and then you've got nowhere to use them.
Hang on. That was a bit presumptuous. I get some. I get picked up some.
So attempted hit-ons, is that what?
Attempted, yeah.
What you were saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
Totally ignore, any status that I might be in terms of my relationship status.
Yeah.
However, there's definitely been some attempts. Absolutely, yeah.
Right. Lucky you.
None of them have worked.
No. Actually, we say lucky you, and that's often the way we joke about it.
Yeah.
However, I would imagine if you're on the receiving end of pickup lines that are ones you don't want or you're not even looking for it, like you said, with no, I don't even know the words.
Interest?
with no regard to your status or even anything. That must be quite annoying. That'd be the equivalent of like walking down the street and someone yelling out from their car.
It's not necessarily annoying. It's disappointing. It's disappointing when people don't respect a status, I think. If you are married or you are in a relationship, I think it's disappointing. Yeah.
Why would it be disappointing?
I think women that are in relationships and are not looking would find it a bit offensive that another person would be suggesting that they were if they're not, and they're not interested.
So if it was like, we'll say, unsolicited attention, and does that show a bit of a disregard to actually finding out about you as a person first?
And also misalignment of values, I think. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that changes, right? In terms of when you're younger and when you're in midlife and you're looking for a partner to share things with or to have experiences with, your requirements change. I think that list changes. Remember we spoke about that in a previous podcast. The list, the dating list.
Yes, the middle-aged single women list of requirements before the man can pass.
Yeah.
Go.
I think that's different when you're 20-something looking for a mate to start a family, to have children with, versus when you're in midlife and those times are behind you.
I'd hope it'd be different.
Me too.
Yeah. I don't think any of us are the same, in midlife as we were in our 20s or late teens or something.
No, I don't think so. And there's a science behind it from a female perspective that I'm aware of in terms of, this really massive drop in certain hormones that happen when women reach the age of 40. So this perimenopausal state that women go into where depending on who you are listening to and what doctors you are getting your advice from, that drop in hormones either means that you're going through perimenopause and you're having this menopausal rage and, you know, everything's a bit foggy and you're unaware of yourself and what you want, versus doctors that are saying when those hormones drop, you've never been clearer on what you want out of this one life that we have on earth. And
I haven't heard that side of a conversation.
Yeah.
I've only heard the craziness part.
Have you?
Yes.
Okay, that's because you're not a woman.
True.
You're looking at it from your perspective. Yeah.
What did you just call it? Like menopause rage?
Menopausal rage.
Menopausal rage.
Yeah. It's a real thing. It's a real
imagine
thing.
it is. I know some of the ways it can manifest. You've experienced it.
I have, yeah. And when you look into
Meaning
that,
you've expressed it. You've
I never said
gone
I've expressed
into
it. You know, I'm quite,
menopausal rage. Is
well,
that what
it's
you're
a
saying?
feeling. It's a feeling.
It's a feeling.
Right? Yeah. It's not necessarily an expression.
So it's different to just being upset or angry.
Yeah. So according to the doctors and all the specialists on menopause and perimenopause, they say that menopausal rage is not an anger or rage towards current situations, rather situations that have happened in the past or your past experiences that now, as a middle-aged woman, you are no longer tolerant of. And that rage comes from looking back at what you gave up, looking back at what you accepted, what you tolerated, and being angry about that, and being angry towards the people who took advantage of you when you were in that space, when you were soft and nurturing and loving and motherly and supportive. I think a lot of women go through that.
Wow. Do you think many women are aware of that part of it? Like that menopausal rage you're talking about coming from years and years ago, or all that they feel they may have lost, or like you said, taken advantage of or taken for granted. Do you think they're aware of that part, or
I think it happens in stages, and I'm only speaking about myself here. I denied that was happening to me. I denied that I was even approaching perimenopause. That was never an option for me. And I'm the type of person that, as a dancer and an athlete, whenever something hurt, it was mind over matter. So when I came to that point in my life where I started hitting perimenopause, I just completely ignored it. Like I would ignore a broken toe if I was about to go on stage and do a performance. It just wasn't there. Right?
Strap it up.
Strap it up, yeah. And the show must go on. So for me, it was something that I would ignore until I realized that it's something that is part of me and it's an indicator rather than something to be ashamed of or something to be ignoring, like emotions. They're flags, right? To say, hey, this is happening. And every time we suppress those emotions, it comes out in other parts of our lives if we don't accept it and acknowledge it for what it is. So that is definitely one stage, the first stage of it. And then the second stage is to understand why you're feeling that rage. What did you give up as a human being to be angry now?
Sacrifice.
The sacrifice, yeah. And we all have that. That is universal. We've all sacrificed parts of ourselves, men and women. We've all sacrificed that to be the people that we are today, to be the mothers and the fathers that we are today. Acknowledge that. Acknowledge that we made
or
those
partners, husbands, wives.
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure.
Do you think that is a requirement if you're living as part of a community or part of it, let's say a tribe? You know, you're living as part of people. Does that mean foregoing part of your individual wants
and needs?
to Needs, that's a hard one. Yeah, I just said wants.
Or desires?
Yeah, not talking about hedonistic desires like opulence and because they get reined in.
Not the 7 deadly sins. Not those.
Those 7 deadly sins, they are sort of counterproductive to a harmonious environment if they're a constant presence, because it generally means that someone else is suffering or carrying a person who is indulging in that. Let's call it a sin. In those 7 sins, 7 habits, 7 things, pursuits.
I think that the way that women are pigeonholed in society is definitely to the benefit of other people within the community.
Oh, hang on, let me say that the way that women are pigeonholed in society
for sure. They are roles,
to the benefit of other people. Who are the other people, Sam?
Everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone. I came across a reel today on Instagram by Dr. Amanda Hansen, who is the midlife muse. She's this incredible woman who embraces womanhood, who embraces all the stages of womanhood. So she starts off talking about how when a girl is born, she has this light within her and she doesn't really quite know what it is. It's very basic. It's all it wants is for people to be seen, for her dreams to come true, and for the world to be a better place, for her to make it a prettier, better place. Very, very basic requirements, right? However, she talks about how as a woman or as a girl grows up, and she specifically goes through these ages like 7, 8, 9, 10, and these major milestones that a girl and a woman go through, where they are the first time they're told that there's something wrong with them, or they need to fix something, or they can't do that, or they can do this, or they should do this, or they shouldn't do that, to when they meet their partners and the societal roles that they need to fit into. And she speaks about how this light in a girl is like a flame, and eventually it gets blown out because of the roles that these women have to play. Because really, she just wants to make the world better. She just wants people to be seen. She just wants her dreams to come true. She just wants to dance and feel free and run and feel the wind in her cheeks and all these beautiful things that we did when we were children. And making that decision not to let that flame burn out, and rather to fan those flames with the people around you and the things that you do. So I think that a lot of women hit midlife and realize that they let those flames go out. They allowed it, they accepted it. In fact, it was what they had to do to be more loved, more accepted. And by the time they get to midlife, they realize, hey, I actually want a different type of life. I think that's pretty common, to be honest. Yeah. So pickup lines that come my way, that are pickup lines that, or pickup strategies that may have worked in my 20s or early 30s wouldn't work on me now. For sure. Yeah.
Got any examples?
Many. These examples of men showing off status or money or strength or power or all the things that a 20-year-old would, or 20-something-year-old would look at and think, well, that's exciting. He can support me, he can care for me, he can protect me, he can, all these things that a woman needs at that time, or supposedly she needs to bring life into the world, and that is what her hormones are telling her to do. I don't think that that's relevant when a woman hits midlife, because by then she's pretty much had her children and she's usually self-supportive at this point, and she's looking for something else. So those sort of strategies wouldn't really work on her. Now
I can see some middle-aged guys taking some notes now. Dodge the perimenopause
rage.
Show all my status wealth in an abundant way and go for a 20-something-year-old woman.
If she'll go for you, maybe one night.
That happens, doesn't it?
It does happen.
Yeah, it's stereotypical.
It does happen. I don't know if it happens often, and I don't know if it happens to the general population. I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's a good example of, I guess, an unwanted approach But that's for you. Like some women may enjoy that sort of indulgence. You know, they may have sacrificed a lot of things and felt that they too could have had, you know, probably more abundance around them and be showered with more gifts. They may feel they were more deserving.
Okay.
Louis Vuitton bag. No. It's interesting because I guess the same could be said for a middle-aged man as well.
In what way?
In what way?
Yeah.
That we could have unwanted
Advances.
advances.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sure. How often does that happen to you?
It has happened on occasion. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And how does it manifest?
Yeah. I'm amazed at what middle-aged women can get away with.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. In what way?
And,
Only middle-aged?
well, we've been to functions together
Yes.
and many sort of things like that.
Yes.
And I pointed out or made you aware
You didn't have to
of some
point them
things.
out. You didn't have to point them out. They were pretty obvious.
Okay.
Yeah. I remember.
Have you had many guys like, you know, go the whole like feel your ass or have a...
Absolutely not. Now, I have noticed at events that you and I have attended together, not together, however, together, I have noticed that women literally feel you up. Would you agree?
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. It's very bold.
Is it enjoyable?
No. I want to run. I want to scream. No, however,
And you've actually pointed out to a few
Yeah.
women. You've actually said, "Hey, you know, you're feeling my arm right
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
Yeah." And they're quite bold and brash and say, "Yes, I am, Brendan." Yeah.
and it's in front of other people. Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
Oh, like a piece of meat.
No, regardless of
no.
feeling like a piece of meat.
It's
is it?
serious. Like, it's not. It's hard. I feel awkward in that situation. So, I
Now,
understand.
what if she was really attractive?
Super hot?
Yeah. Would that change things?
I doubt it. Well, I'd still be as nervous. However, maybe a little bit more excited, perhaps, if it was someone that appealed to me.
That's when the nervous versus excitement hormone, it feels the same.
Oh,
Yeah. So maybe you're always excited, you're just not sure.
I thought I was always nervous. No.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look, yeah, those things happen. I'm sure they happen to many people, and I don't.
Does that work?
I don't encourage that.
Does that work for you?
Does it work for me?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
No. And
Even if she was very attractive, would it work for you?
like, you know, someone I desired or something. If it was a response to something that I'd initiated, then that would be a completely different story.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how would you initiate something? As a man in his midlife, if you are looking at a bit, yeah.
I'm squirming in my seat here for those that can't see. Yeah.
You meet a woman, you find her quite desirable, and you want to show interest, and this response from her, you know, like we've noticed at events that happen to you all the time with women holding onto your
Don't
arm.
overdo it. Like,
No, well, I mean,
happens.
every event, there's definitely a woman. I mean, I remember an event where a woman came up to you and asked you if you had just showered because you smelled so good. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Oh, that was a bit forward.
I think she was expecting me to say no, and then she said, "Well, would you like a shower?" That's a line that would work.
Would it?
Oh, hell yeah. You know? Just generally. Like, I'm not saying specifically for me. I'm just generally.
Maybe it would.
may work.
It would.
That may work.
It wouldn't work on me.
No?
No, it wouldn't work on me. I would certainly not pick up a man like that. Would you like a shower?
Oh, that needed a shower.
No.
Yeah.
So how would you initiate that? And I'll tell you if that would work on a middle-aged woman like myself.
Well, I think the key to it was what you said earlier. a woman that you were interested in. As you know, I talk to many men and we work together on some things about life after divorce.
Yes.
And one of the things that is definitely high on everyone's list is, what do I do now? I've got a new start on life. I'm looking for some romance or some action or a partner that I really want to spend my time and my life with.
Now, are those the same thing?
I listed them as very different things.
Right.
Yeah.
Action,
they're almost
romance,
different categories.
partner. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think a ultimate goal would be to wrap all of those up with one person. Yeah. However, it depends on the person's stage and needs versus wants and long-term goals.
And options.
Yeah, and options. Yeah, good one. You have to take an interest in that person. Yeah, so it is very much, and this is where I find a lot of men and women are sort of a little bit more systematic when it comes to online dating, because there's not necessarily that direct interest with the person. There may be, but that's based on photographs and a couple of comments. And then you start off, how do you start off those things? It's with text messages.
Okay.
So it's, it's almost like gamification, any of those apps. It's like, how do I attract attention? How do I get a laugh? How do I make myself appear in a certain way that seems to appeal and get the response I'm after from this person?
And also from the right person, right? The type of person you're looking for, because you could get a lot of responses from, and I don't know, I haven't been on a dating app. However, I'm assuming you could get a lot of responses from people that are not the type of person you would be interested in. Is that the case?
Yeah, well,
like in life?
Generally how those apps work is there's interest shown and then you return interest. So there's an option there for you not to start anything with a person. Yeah.
So honestly, when you were on those apps, how much interest came your way that you didn't return?
Well,
a percentage.
Well, it's not always visible, right? Because I wouldn't go full premium paid options or anything. And I must admit, like in recent times, I wasn't on there for very long. I found it quite a little overwhelming.
What about it was overwhelming?
It's, as I alluded to before, like it's almost systematic, right?
Okay.
And so when there's interest shown, it's almost scaled up. So there's numerous conversations you'd be having and you'd be looking and getting responses and you'd be checking where you're up on certain, what stage you're up to with a particular person. And that wasn't what I was after. I wasn't after like volume or anything. And I think this is a really common one. And I would like to get your female's perspective on this.
Okay.
Because I think it'd be very informative for many men, is that for me anyway, and for a lot of men that I know in that situation, we have a better understanding of what we want now. So when you talk about you don't want the same thing when you're 20, 25 as you do in your midlife, when you're searching, I've got a new start, a fresh start or something. Yeah, that too's the same for a man. It's sort of like, well, I've been through a certain stage in my life and I've shared that with someone. And for many, for some, they may want to go, hey, I'll go, if there's the option, I'll have a young woman and I'll do it all again, and I'll do it in a way that...
All of it again, like children?
Yep. You see a lot of people kickstart again.
Would you start again? Like from the beginning?
No.
A younger woman? Like much younger? Like a 30-something-year-old that hadn't had children and you met her and she then decided she wanted to have children? Would you do that again? If you could.
if I could. No, I've never considered that, and I've never offered to anyone that I would consider having children again. Yeah, ever.
Me neither. You said you wanted to know what my female opinion is on what?
Yeah, that insight. Okay, so what does change? I'll just run through a scenario. So for some people, that in their midlife, they find themselves by themselves again. As you mentioned, women who get to a stage where they don't have those same restrictions or responsibilities. Let's say that if they've had children, the children are a bit older, so it's not that direct responsibility. They may free them time up a bit more. Guys may go through a similar thing as well. However, females who do that, you see some will click back to, I'm going back to my free days when I was 20-something. All of a sudden, Bon Jovi music's playing again.
I love Bon Jovi. He's my favourite.
I'll pick something else.
I had every single poster, postcard, flag, whatever of Bon Jovi when I was growing up.
Okay.
Everyone, yeah. So I can resonate with that one.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So people who try and relive and capture that youth again. So there's an element of people who do that. And
do you think that's what it is?
I used to own a restaurant, and I used to see that a lot. I would, there would be tables of middle-aged women come in.
Listening to Bon Jovi, is that
would you play it for them? However, they'd just be like wine and drinking and laughing, and then they'd be going out. However, there was that element of like, I'm free again, and it was moving back to where they were a long time ago. So
I think it's that.
That's an element.
I think it's that. Like when you said earlier, reliving that time. I don't think it's reliving it because we drank too much. We didn't have any money.
Yeah.
I think it's almost a feeling of rediscovering who we are, and I think men have that too. I think that men and women go through this time where they self-sacrifice, they have children, they focus on raising those children, the best versions of those humans that they could possibly, raise. And then they get to a point where both, I'm sure, men and women turn around and say, I remember I used to love that, or I used to enjoy that. And if they are still in a relationship at that time with the other parent, or if they're not, or whatever that case is, looking back at that and saying, I was in a particular role in that relationship. And often in relationships, we have these roles, and it's very difficult to change the perception of who we are when we're in that particular relationship where, let's say, for 20, 30 years, we've held a particular role. Often I speak to people that say to me, my partner of 20, 30 years doesn't even know who I am because they weren't the same partner they had when they were in their teens or their early 20s. They got married and had a family, and that was their goal as a couple. And I've noticed a difference between people who don't have children and are married and choose not to have children, right? They decide that's not for them. And couples that have had children and that's been the focus of their 10, 15, 20-year marriage, and then they get to the end of it and they say, my partner doesn't know anything about me because when they met me, our goal was to have a family and to raise children. And I think that when they get to that point, when their children start moving out or their children start being self-sufficient, they as in self-sufficient, as in they can feed themselves, right?
Yeah, get dressed for school.
They can get dressed for school, and all of a sudden those roles, that caretaker role is lessened, like you said. Yeah. There's a part in everyone, I think, that looks at that and says, who was I before this?
Can I have another go at answering that question you asked me before?
Absolutely, go for it.
Can I also expand this to if you're still in a relationship, like you still may be married as well, and you've gone through that period. So how you would pick someone up
whilst you're still married?
Your partner.
Okay.
Let's say things have become a little bit detangled, like, unhitched a little.
All right.
Yeah, so we're talking about reinvigorating as well. I want to include those people because there's a lot of people who are still in a relationship, however, maybe it's a bit frayed and, it's not going so well or something. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I would say, as I said, take an interest in that person. And I think what you were talking about with Dr. What was her name again?
Amanda Hansen,
and talking about that flame and that flame eventually blowing out because all she wanted was, something at this stage of life. And then as it moved, it was, to still be appreciated and loved and noticed. And I think that's a really big thing. It's a thing I hear a lot with both men and women about, losing touch with another person and the regret that comes with it. Take interest in them, find out like what they've done, where they come from. Because there's so many moving parts when you meet someone in middle-aged life. They've experienced a whole life, and you have as well. And I'd be asking questions like, hey, what are you looking forward to most in the next 6 months? Yeah. And then maybe if there were some obstacles and barriers in that and you weren't getting much response, it'd be like, if you could have a plane ticket anywhere to do any activity, any time in the next 12 months to anywhere, what would be top of your list?
Now, I want to answer that.
Oh, okay.
What is yours? If you had a plane ticket to anywhere in the next 6 months, where would it be?
I'd fly to France, and my ex-wife, her cousin married a French guy. They've got a pizza restaurant in Paris. Really nice little spot in Paris. I'd go there, and I'd annoy Bryce by trying to make some pizzas with him. And then the next morning I'd get up and I would get onto the El Camino way. Yeah, and I'd start jogging from Paris all the way to Santo Diego, wherever that finishes. Up through the mountains and everything. And I'd do that section of the El Camino.
Okay. So mine would be, I have been wanting to go to Italy my entire life. And if I could get a plane ticket anywhere, it would be to go to Italy and eat Italian ice cream and eat Italian pasta and go and have a look at every single item of or piece of art and architecture in Italy. That would be and to go to the Amalfi Coast. That would be it. Yeah, absolutely. So that would be an amazing way to start a conversation with a...
So right now, I understand that you're talking about Amalfi Coast.
Yes.
Artwork.
Yes.
And really nice Italian food.
Right, and that's got nothing to do with kids.
No, absolutely not. So if I were to ask you more questions like that, like, the type of art you like to see, if you like Italian architect as well, the buildings and things like that.
And why?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like that's a big one. Why are you interested in that? Like why is that a thing for you? Yeah.
So as a test, like as a guy who's, you could go off and do a little bit of research, I would be looking up things like there's Renaissance art down in Goma. Do you want to come down? That'd be a good date.
That would be a great date. Talking about people that have tried to pick me up, right? What doesn't work and what does work, I can tell you that direct pickups never work with women. Or very
never work,
rarely.
like cheesy lines, that sort of thing.
Or just like, hey, do you want to go out for dinner? Like, no. Especially in midlife, right? Like, I find that quite confronting. You're just sitting there assessing each other over dinner. I don't.
And where do I take you? Like, do I choose to take you to a really expensive place?
And it's also
to try
the way.
and impress you?
Yeah.
Or do I take you somewhere more low key and cool?
Yeah.
And
you've got no idea, especially when
I'm a
you've
bit
just
more
met
chic.
the woman, right? And also like it's the way you do it. I think that women. I'm speaking for myself. However, I think that women that are in midlife know exactly what they want, and I also know that women at my age or similar are looking for a certain way that a man would deal with them. So if we have spent 20 years raising children and making decisions, we don't want to make a decision about where we're going, right?
Yeah.
We want someone to say to us, hey, I'm taking you for dinner. I'm going to pick you up at this time.
Okay, yeah.
And you're going to have a great time, and this is what you need to wear, and this is when I'll have you home, safe and sound. That's really attractive.
Yeah.
Versus where do you want to go? What time should we meet?
Yeah.
We've spent years making plans for our children and our husband and our home. And I think once you get to midlife, that's really sexy when you've got a man that tells you in a very polite way, right? Because we also don't want to be told what to do or controlled.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's a very...
I was going to say, here's a tip for the guys listening.
Yeah.
Because right now I can feel what many of them are feeling, I'm certain, is that they go, oh, but I've just been trying to appease everyone at home, and or I'm new to this dating game business, and women seem so more confident and they know what they want.
Absolutely.
So I'm going to give them the option and show that I'm really flexible and I'm happy to go along with anything.
Oh, that just means that you're wishy-washy.
Okay, so let's write this down. So
we need a man that knows.
Show interest.
Absolutely.
Find some sort of thing.
Yep.
And then make a bold decision on the back of that.
Move with confidence.
Move with confidence.
Yes.
That's a bold decision.
Yeah.
Move with confidence.
Move with confidence.
I like the sound of move with confidence. So
I reckon when women get to a particular age, we don't want to be your mother anymore. So we need a man, we need a playmate, we need someone that's going to bring out or fan those flames that we are trying to get going again, and a man that comes to a woman with, well, you decide and you make the call and you direct it. I don't know if that's really attractive. It's not attractive to me.
There's somewhere else I want to go with this. We don't have time for it, but we're going to bank it for another episode. However, I'm thinking about, how do you let that 25-year-old excited woman who's been there all along, who was the life of the party, and it may have had that life sucked out of her, over 20 years or whatever. How do we...
or 3 kids. Yeah.
Yes, all of those demands of life. Yeah.
Yeah.
And responsibilities. Yeah, so that's something we should look at sometime soon. I'm thinking, how does a guy get the keys to unlock that inner woman?
Oh, I can answer that with one sentence. I can answer that now.
Okay.
Yeah. I am certain that any man that creates a space for a woman to let her be that person that she is deep down inside, that light that she is, if he can create that space for her and make that safe for her without judgment, without control, just a safe space, a safe, secure space for her to be, I think that's a winner. And it will come out naturally.
Is that a good first step? Taking interest, finding something?
Yeah.
Making that move with confidence to begin with?
Yeah.
There we go. I'm going to, guys, write that down. Move with confidence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
We don't want to be mums.
No.
At that stage of our lives or at this stage of our lives. We don't want to. We need someone that takes control.
Yeah. And
gives us that thinking, takes away that thinking space that we have to constantly be in. It's really sexy to not have to feel like you're in that space all the time, to just let it go. And I think that opens up many doors for women and men.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're saying this woman or these women that are feeling your bicep muscle at events, that doesn't work for you. What does?
That does at a nightclub.
Okay. At 1 o'clock in the morning.
Before the ugly lights come on.
So that would be getting action.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So looking for something a bit more serious, how would that play out for you? Ladies, take notes. What doesn't work? You've told me that when women mention that there are, or they make a point of saying they are single mothers.
Oh, yeah.
That came up, right? We've had that discussion before. Why is that? Why does that?
It doesn't necessarily not work.
Now, what if she's what if she's desirable and she's like, oh, I'm a single mother.
Well,
and I don't have the kids tonight.
Okay. Well, in that specific case that I was mentioning, is a very desirable woman.
Okay.
Yeah, it just wasn't someone that I desired.
Okay.
Yeah. If it was a different circumstance, that would be exactly the sort of woman that very smart, running a business and everything, very successful, good.
Good.
Good, yeah. Appealing woman. So, it just wasn't for me. It wasn't,
Okay.
had no interest, yeah.
So what piques your interest as a middle-aged man? What would work? What advice can you give women who are looking for a man to show them or create space for them at this age?
Yeah. Look, I feel that I've got an interesting experience because I was in a marriage for a long time and then became divorced. So there was that round of singledom, let's say. Yeah. So, that time was certainly very different to after having a 5-year relationship and then becoming single again. So by that stage, like 5 years later, I was really determined and much more aware of what I truly wanted out of life. And that's something that I talk about with men as well.
So I was going to say, with men that you work with that are going through divorce, how clear are they about what they want?
I think this discussion is a good example. So when we talked about doing the subject for this podcast, and most of what we've talked about, we've been focused on what a woman wants, what a woman needs. And
I've just spoken much more.
Yeah. However, that's generally the focus. And a lot of men don't necessarily consider what they may want and what they need and their opportunity to pursue the best life that they can and be the best person they can for their ideal partner or person they choose to spend time with. So what I find is many men are ready to stumble onto something without thinking straight away. And I don't think that that's unique to men. Yeah. I see women do that as well.
Okay.
And we often hear of people finding exactly the same person. And it's like you're repeating your marriage. Like, that guy even looks like the one you were married to, and then having the same issues or challenges or being upset again about the way things are turning out. When I'm working with men, it's a case of going on a little bit of soul searching and really trying to understand what's important to you. Probably delving back into, similar to what you were saying about that young girl, like the young guys have dreams as well, like us as men, and whereas sometimes is broken down and disappointed with how things have turned out as well. Like sometimes, it feels like life's had a go at us. We thought we did the right thing. We put our heads down, we worked hard, and we were told that, if we were doing that, and we've just taken on these assumed gender roles as well. And we've tried to conform and fit into that and do them really well. And guess what? Here we find ourselves at middle-aged life and we're going, hey, it wasn't meant to be like this. It was meant to be easier or better or more fulfilling. So with men, I definitely say, okay, we work through a whole heap of things. And it really comes down to the values that are important to you. And there is a systematic way of going through and discovering your values without necessarily trying to experience that and discover it yourself. For me, that was a lived experience. I discovered and through frustrations and things what some particular values were so important to me and they were absent from my life, and that had a really bad effect on a relationship. And I found that even though I couldn't articulate that at the time.
Because you weren't bringing those values or because they were not aligned?
They weren't shared and aligned.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And it wasn't as explicit as you say this and I say that and we get that understanding.
Yeah.
It was through living them. Yeah. And as much as you could cloak and shroud a whole heap of other things around it, excitement, fun, caring, loving, understanding and connection and a whole heap of things, shared interests. I discovered through my experience that, the values that I was seeking that weren't being fulfilled or met, that's how I discovered them. And I think that was also the same on the other side, like what I didn't bring or what I didn't value as high was an issue. Yeah.
And that's difficult when you love the person, right?
It's so hard when you think that so much else is so good.
Yeah.
And you think, oh, this is amazing.
Yeah.
And why shouldn't we? Look at us. We're so much better than it. All these other people living half-lived lives together.
Yeah.
Yeah. However, there's those things that pop up. So that's what I work on with men to discover what those values are that are really important, or at least the things that shape the things that are important at your core.
Does that tie in with what works in terms of a woman coming on to one of those men? So, and I just want to touch on something that you spoke about there. There's a book that you and I have spoken about recently called Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill.
Yeah.
And it speaks about how we make decisions, right?
Yes.
And it's interesting because you were talking about a particular person who had mentioned she was a single mother, and you said, look, she was really desirable. That all these things worked, right? They were tick box. They were all there. And I think this is something that happens in everything that we do, not just when we're looking at a potential partner. The author talks about how we make decisions, and he talks about the conscious mind and how we have this logical discussion. We put all the points down. She's attractive, she's successful, she's a good person, she's athletic, all of these points, right? They're all there. And
sounds fantastic.
Yeah, right? And then you've got your subconscious mind, which is the story that we tell ourselves, right? I'm not worth a woman like that, or I can't satisfy a woman like that, or I deserve more than that, whatever that story is, right? And then there's the fear, which is a completely different part of your mind. That's your reptilian brain. That's a completely different side, protecting us against whether we will be loved back. So how does that tie in with the work that you do, getting men to discover who they really are at a core, who they've become, and the values that are important to them? Just as women do, they go through the same stages of who they were, who they have become, what's important to them. And I think what you're saying is we fall into these relationships where logically on paper, tick, 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 right? She's everything that I've wanted, except the story or the feeling about it or the fears don't align. Would you say that?
Yes, and one of the things that you have to be very conscious of when you meet someone is that the person you see in front of you may not be their full potential. So I know Jordan Peterson says something about you fall in love with the potential of a person, what you see and what you can see together in the future. So I guess, unlocking that free-spirited woman that's inside there, that's been trapped and downtrodden perhaps for some time, I think all of that comes back to really open and direct communication. So a lot of the work I do with men is around how to speak better with people and
how to
speak
communicate
themselves, like how they really feel, and find the words that truly describe what they're after, or their desires, or the things that help drive them.
So with that in mind,
Yes.
what would work on a man like that? A man that has done the work and obviously is still growing and developing, right? When I say to you, for a woman, we're looking for a partner. We're not looking necessarily for a mate to have children with. We're not necessarily looking for, at this stage of our lives, we're not necessarily looking for the money. We're looking for someone that's going to create that space where we can be who we are and who we know we are, that we've hidden for many, many, many years. However, we've got to a point where we want to bring her out, and we want someone to play with us. We want someone to create that space with us. How would you pick up a woman like that, or how would a woman pick up a man that's in that space or in that readiness? What do you think would work? Not holding on to their arms at events or asking if they had a shower?
No.
What would work?
No, that may work. That
Okay.
may work quite fine.
Okay.
I think it would start with a bit of eye contact and smiling. Let's say you're at, kids' soccer game or something, or surf club, whatever. We're Australian. Motion gets emotion flowing. Yeah. So when you speak and talk and everything, you don't necessarily have direct eye contact. Like you said, you're not sitting across from each
like
other
when you're
at a
going
dinner
for a
table.
walk.
Yeah. So you're walking next to each other, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can talk all the time and you don't have to see faces.
And then you can stop and get a hot chocolate or a coffee or whatever.
Yeah.
And
it's a good start.
Yeah. And then if she doesn't want to see you again for another walk, then you know.
Let's say you've had a walk.
Right.
Yeah, you get to the end of it then. And then what's the line? So if you're a woman and you're asking a guy, for a guy,
right,
he would, a little bit forward, however, it would be well appreciated if they said something along the lines of like, hey, you seem like a really interesting guy and I'd really like to catch up with you again and have a chat and maybe we could go out and, you know, he may have said he likes 10-pin bowling.
Okay.
Yeah, you might say,
you know,
hey,
I'm really good at 10-pin bowling. I'm like amazing.
Well, I think that would be a great way. You put a wager on it. Something fun, like, you know.
Yeah.
Then you can
I think
take me out to
activities
dinner.
are always really good. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So I think don't leave it hanging. I think middle-aged people don't stuff around.
Don't waste their time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
absolutely.
make it known. Then,
right.
Yeah.
And what if you're not interested? I've had someone tell me, only one person, tell me to my face that they weren't interested.
Okay. Well, I guess you received the message.
I did, yeah. It was like, don't call me.
They didn't waste your time.
Yeah, I wasn't middle-aged at that time. How do you gently let someone down?
Oh.
Yeah. I think honesty is always the best policy.
Yes.
Right?
Gentle, be kind.
Yeah. Because you don't want to say, you know, you're not dating at the moment and then next week they see you at the same surf club with someone else.
Compliment sandwich. Hey, you're a wonderful person.
Yeah.
I've really enjoyed the time with you.
Okay.
It's just that I'm sort of looking for something a little bit different.
Something a little bit blonder?
However.
Younger?
However, you're a fantastic woman. I'm sure things are going to go great.
I would love to stay your friend.
You can even leave that last bit out if you want.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So that sounds like a good plan. Yeah. So I think from my side, what I've taken out of this is that it's really important to take an interest in someone, find out a little bit about them, and then make your moves based on what you find out.
Especially their relationship status.
Well, that's sort of like, yeah.
Yeah. Because I've noticed that some men, middle-aged men, don't try and find that out first.
Okay. Yeah. And I think the ultimate thing there is let's unlock that cage and let that little excited person back out, whether it be male or female.
Yeah.
Let them out, let them play, let them run around, have fun.
Yeah.
And I think
that's what we're looking for now, right?
That's what makes life worth exploring, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yep.
Well, Sam, until next time, where we go and explore all the adventures, mishaps and mayhem of middle-aged life and everything in between.
That's it. See ya, Brendan.
All right. Have a great night.